He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
We are simulcasting at prisonplanet.tv and living color for all the radio listeners that wish to tune in on the web, not just to audio, but to the live video at prisonplanet.tv. Coming up, healthcare bill wouldn't bring real reform. Howard Dean says he's getting ready to get somebody to run against Obama in 2012 because he knows Obama is going to be out of there. This is the third administration of George W. Bush. Obama is a colossal hoax. He's as big a hoax as man-made global warming. He's as big a hoax as WMDs in Iraq. This isn't about partisanship, left or right. It's about the truth. And if you're a socialist who really wants government health care, you're a well-meaning liberal that wants to help people that don't have health care, you have to be against this bill. Because it's, as Dennis Kucinich said, it is nothing but a corporate ripoff. It raises your taxes and cuts your benefits. And it puts you in prison. I mean, it's so un-American, it makes my head spin. So unconstitutional. Now, I'm against free health care because there's nothing that's free in this world. And it gives government control over your life. And any big government system turns into a ripoff. Because only big, powerful financial interest can come in and move the levers of government. So any big government is always going to burn you and is always going to be a fraud. That is the nature of it. It is like a law of gravity or the law of thermodynamics or the law of cause and effect. It is a law, not a theory. Big government is hell. People want solutions, cut government. Instead, Obama has spent more money than all presidents before him combined. Now, the buck doesn't stop with Obama. I told people in Obama Deception and Fall of the Republic, he will be politically destroyed. And then everything will be blamed on him. And then the next puppet will come in, and everything will be blamed on that puppet. Please, ladies and gentlemen, look past the little puppets dancing in front of you to the person pulling the strings. Bernanke, Summers, Geithner, Rubin, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. And finally, the real elite is being revealed. Now, in Copenhagen, the meeting is in trouble because Africa, Asia, and Latin America have discovered that it's massive taxes paid directly to the IMF and World Bank from the third world and the first world, the developing and the developed, to be paid to the IMF and World Bank. The UN has no control. Even if you trust the UN, it's going to the IMF and World Bank, who are even worse. They're the progenitors of the UN. It's nothing but a holding front for them. George Soros is involved. Global taxes, global GDP taxes, global taxes with a global authority over all money transfers. That's what's in the treaty. Go to Infowars.com. Go to PrisonPlanet.com. Go over the documents. Go over the latest treaty. Paul Watson's written an article about it. He has links to the treaty. Don't believe me. Read this for yourself. Then when you see Obama up there talking about how war is peace and how this is a great deal for the third world and how America's bad and has to pay its debt, that's meant to sell the left and America bashers on, oh, we're going to get behind this, when it's actually genocide to their countries and is actually meant to target them and destroy the development of their industrial capacity. And is a death sentence. Just the U.S. and Brazil shifting to 30% of their cornfields to ethanol doubled world food prices and killed an extra 10 million people from starvation. Normally it's 15 mil. It was 25 mil. Those are conservative estimates. You think about 10 million people. I know Stalin said that one person's a tragedy, 10,000 is a statistic, but you wrap your mind around that. You let that sink in. Now, in this segment and the next few, I'm going to play Obama's speech today in Copenhagen, the final day of the official world government event. I mean, that's what Ban Ki-moon calls it. That's what Von Rompuy calls it. The head of the EU, head of the UN, Schwarzenegger calls it that. David de Rothschild calls it that. No more denial, private world government. So I'm going to play Obama and briefly stop him and cover each lie. Here is Obama today in Copenhagen.
Good morning. It is an honor for me to join this distinguished group of leaders from nations around the world. We come here in Copenhagen because climate change poses a grave and growing danger to our people. All of you would not be here unless you, like me, were convinced.
Okay. Now, that's about 30 seconds of it. Let's go over the lies. He says, all of you leaders are here. You all agree that climate change is a grave and deadly threat and is really happening. That's a complete fraud. More than 50 of the delegates of the 190 plus that are there on record have said they are questioning ClimateGate and the official story, and a bunch of world leaders from those countries are questioning it, and that's on record. You know, the president of the Czech Republic, countless others, the Russians, you name it. The Japanese, the Chinese, the Indians. I mean, it goes on and on. So that's a lie. You're all here. You all agree. And you all agree it's a grave danger. And notice it's not global warming now because things are getting colder, naturally. It's global change. Change is not normal. The seasons are not normal. Okay? So let's continue.
Unless you, like me, were convinced that this danger is real. This is not fiction. It is science.
Hit pause. This is not fiction. It is science. When the main UN university in England that produced the key documents and the head scientist for the IPCC, Santer, separately from ClimateGate, now admits, as of Wednesday on national U.S. television, this is huge news, that he took out 5 areas of the report where the UN's own scientists said man is not causing this. The final report, they cut it out. Of course man can't do anything near the sun or anything near the moon. And the tidal changes from the moon, the amount of gases exchanged by all of that water moving. I mean, that alone, the moon is unbelievable. But the sun dwarfs it. So it's just incredible. All of it is lies. Continue.
Unchecked, climate change will pose unacceptable risks to our security, our economies, and our planet.
Hit pause. Unacceptable risk. You have the UN caught fixing the data. This is the same thing when he talks about this is not a fiction, this is science. That's like Al Gore talking about how he invented the internet. Total lie. Or Al Gore saying polar bears can't swim and are all dying when their numbers have more than tripled in the last 50 years. Official numbers. That's like Bill Clinton saying I did not have sex with that woman. Or Richard Nixon saying I'm not a crook. Or George Bush Sr. saying read my lips. It's a lie. It's a lie. So he's saying this is science. This is fact. You can't question. When their scientists have been proven in premeditated fraud. Here's a guy saying pay taxes to a private global corporation, the World Bank and IMF, or the seas are going to rise and you're going to drown. Back to it.
This much we know. The question then before us is no longer the nature of the challenge. The question is our capacity to meet it.
Hit pause. See, you just keep saying, everyone knows, everyone knows. It's not a question. It's a fact. We know the facts are in. You've got to do what I say. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. A total con man. Just a slick Harvard lawyer con man running a scam on the dumb public. Well, the dumb public woke up to your scam, buddy. Let's go back to him.
For while the reality of climate change is not in doubt, I have to be honest.
There you go. Hit pause again. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to play this. We're not even 2 minutes into it. He says, while the reality of climate change is not in doubt, I guess in a lawyer speak, that's true. The climate is always changing. Just like on Mars, the ice caps were getting smaller the last 50 years. Suddenly, the last 5, it started getting bigger again. Because the sun just cooled off. That's why it's going to get colder here. I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory, folks, that if you stand in front of a fireplace, it heats your hands, and that the sun heats up and cools off.